How's it going, guys? It's Burgas here and welcome to another Call of Dragons video, and today we're going to talk about the mages and why some players are expecting something from mages, and when the mages don't deliver, they are surprised. So today we're going to talk about the mages in Call of Dragons. And as a person playing mages from the beginning, I was there gunned out 3,000 years ago. I can clearly say that I was having some expectations for the mages, but with the time I understand the core idea for the mages. And what is the core idea for the mages, for marksmen, infantry and cavalry. Apart from this, that I'm content creator for Call of Dragons is, I just go more in deep over these things. So today we're going to talk about why most players are going to build mages the wrong way. Now, some of the things you may see you're doing right, some of the things you clearly going to see that things are not like this. So let's start with the first thing, and what is the core idea for the mages. Now, the core idea of the mages, they're not built for burst. This is the first thing that the players, and maybe every gamer is expecting huge damage in short amount of time. This is not the case with the mages. The mages is something that compile over the time. You're not having the burst what the cavalry is having. You're going to have your mages. This is maybe the most slow gathering merits troop in Call of Dragons, and I'm going to explain why. Right now with the infantry, I'm going to say troop by troop just to get the full big picture what I'm trying to say here. The infantry right now in Call of Dragons, you can send your infantry. They're going to maybe you can do just blink in the enemy mage ball. Your infantry is going to die, but you're going to make like 50k merits right there. This is like 2-3 minutes work. Okay, maybe it's not even that much. Maybe with going to the battlefield and getting back, maybe it's going to take that much time, but still, for a short amount of time, you get decent amount of merits. And this is when you jump in the mages, around the mages. Because the mages are the most squishy unit in Call of Dragons. If you check it out what the mages are having, let me just get my troops back home. If you check it out, the mages, oh my god, I actually forgot to start the training, but the mages are having the lowest HP in Call of Dragons. Now, the Vestals and Celestials share the same amount of HP. So this is a tier 5 Celestial. It have 192 HP. Even marksmen or ballista is having more HP from the mages, 211, and this is obviously the Vestals. So the mages by default are very squishy. So the moment you send your infantry around the mages, infantry are going to give a lot of casualties to the mages, especially when there is some crazy legion like Kuma with Joran, Kuma with Goresh Kuma. Didn't actually matter. This is the part where you send your infantry, you get tons of merits, you send and spam infantry non-stop. Obviously a single or maybe 2 legions right there. So infantry are generating merits very fast. I even use infantry in Battle of Abyss, and boy, I make like 400-500k merits per battle. Now, the other thing is cavalry. I don't think I have to say something about the cavalry. Things are pretty obvious here, but cavalry are maybe the most speed troop in Call of Dragons. Not only when you strike the when you strike rage legions, you get 100% rage or 100% rage or 1000 rage. But majority of the cavalry are having a rage regeneration. Even Bakshi is having this increased rage accumulation speed. It have a chance to hit the passion. Majority of the cavalry heroes are having rage regeneration. So this is maybe the most fast troop that is going to generate rage and is going to execute the spell. Now, if you have good artifacts and good pets, you can make so fast so much merits. That's why the cavalry players are one of the players that is having the most merits. Just the cavalry generating so fast the merits. And finally, marksmen. Now, marksmen was something that was little kicked from the game, not gonna lie. But later, more and more marksmen tell me and share some reports with me with some decent results with the marksmen. You just kill the infantry, that's all. And on the infantry, on the battlefield, you're going to see a lot of infantry. So the future of marksmen are start to be one idea good from what was back in the days. And still, with those artifacts that are doing crazy amount of damage, a lot of AoE and etc., and knowing the marksmen are the most higher damage troop in Call of Dragons. This is the troop with the highest attack in Call of Dragons. And having heroes that benefit from this, like normal attack damage bonus 450%, you start seeing that the marksmen are also like this. But with the mages, and the core idea of the mages is never going to be the burst. So if I can say, maybe infantry in the first place by speed, cavalry by speed, and after this little more slower is marksmen, but marksmen are making merits way more faster from the mages, because marksmen, when they get hit by something, they have pretty decent counterattack also. So the core idea of the mages is not actually the burst, and that's why I just spent this time explaining cavalry, infantry, and marksmen, just so you have the clear picture which what each of these troops are for, in point of how much each of these troops, how fast they're going to generate their merits. So what you can actually see for the mages, and the hidden metric of the mages, if I can say it like this, is total damage, not burst. Now, to be fair, from time to time I actually do some burst. What I mean by that is I manually control my artifacts, because I have example Infernal Flame, which example 1 have splash damage or AoE damage. I have Mirage Orb, that is maybe the biggest armor piercing show in this game, and I have Dragon Fate. So by controlling from time to time, not always, I mean, I get pretty decent hits, and from there pretty decent burst, if I can use the word burst. But I will never be even close to the burst what the cavalry or the infantry are having, even the marksmen. But since the mages are very far, they have this metric that nobody's talking about, and this metric is the total damage they're doing, not the burst. So you're going to see some crazy reports and crazy survivability from the mages, and that's why when somebody ends the min of the mages, everybody's looking like, wait, what? Because the mages have this survivability that they can be more for longer on the battlefield. This is one of the things. We're going to talk also about the pets, but at the end of the day, with the mages, you can get some crazy good reports. This is not something like, because you're going to see different reports on the when somebody shares some infantry report for 150k merits, for example, and you start thinking that this is the infantry reports that they're getting. No, they are not. Normally the infantry are getting reports between 30 and 50k. 30 and 50k. There can be some reports for 150k, but the majority of the case is going to be between 30 and 50k. Same for cavalry. You can see like 200k merit report, but if you see, the majority of the cavalry is between 20 and 60k. This is the reports of the cavalry. The majority of the cases. Now, if you play some dirty tricks, you may get some very nice reports. So what I mean by dirty tricks is, for example, Urak with Nea, and you have this wolf woman of here war, you teleport, you immediately strike some range legion, you get back. You can generate pretty decent reports the majority of the cases. But this is again something like isolated case from what you're going to get if you cavalry bomb, or you're not striking some AFK legions on the battlefield. If you want to be in the battlefield, you may actually get some good reports, but at the end of the day, it's not something wild, okay? But with mages, you can get some good reports, and this is something like consistent good reports. With you, Ming, I get 10 to 1. If I get like 20k in the hospital, I get 200k from the enemy side in the hospital. So the total damage that the mages are doing is absolutely the biggest one. Let's say like this. Now, marksmen these days are also making some good reports. This what I can say, but the hidden metric for the mages is the total damage at the end of the day. And let's talk about the pets, because I promise I'm going to say something about the pet, and we're going to talk about the pets. One of the mistakes that I start feeling to be actually a mistake is I actually built some damage pets that don't pay the way that I was expecting. Now let me explain what I mean by that. Is I have Sapphire Fire Drag for my Lilia. This like 3-star. I have like intelligence 265. It's not the best one, but my spirit is like 318, which add one extra target. Maybe this pet is not the best the best example. Maybe this one is going to be the best example. So because here I actually have some critical rate, which is like 30%. I have follow up, I have intense follow up, and I have some critical damage, which is like 65%. So this pet is actually maybe one of the good one, not because it's damage pet, but because it's having this healing. Now, as you can see, now here I have damage factor 95, 384, and healing factor 160. Now, why is that? From when I start this video, I say that the mages are having the lowest HP in Call of Dragons, and this actually reflect over your legion numbers. So the more time your legion is with higher numbers, the more damage you're going to do, the more skill damage your heroes is going to do, your artifact hits is going to be more hard, even your pet is going to hit more harder. Okay, for the pet I'm not like 100% sure, but artifacts and skill damage, the skill damage your heroes are doing is definitely going to be on the roof. So I can say that Seraphic Fire Drag is actually very good pet, but I cannot say the same for Sapphire Fire Drag or for Flaming Manticore. As you can see, the Flaming Manticore is having like 4 swords. I'm not lucky, okay? I'm not lucky with the pet RNG. But still, I managed to get some good intelligence, good spirit, and good luck. The luck is like close to 300, by the way. So this is a 3-star. This is a 2-star. Like 61% critical damage and close to 30% critical rate. The damage output I'm getting from this pet is extremely bad. It's extremely bad, and you can see that deals magic damage to the Legion. Damage factor can go to 306. Determinate and increase mode and blah blah blah. 40 damage. It's just so not that much. These damaging pets are not like the damaging pets for infantry or for cavalry. Like our Warhound can actually pull solid damage. It's also a with damage dealer at the end of the day. So the only good pet I'm currently having for the mages is Seraphic Fire Jurak, and currently I'm building my Sand Lizards. This is what I'm doing, because if my mages is for more time alive on the battlefield, having full legion, so, the more damage my heroes are going to do with their skills and with their artifacts. So I cannot actually afford to count on pet to do do the same damage what my mages and artifacts are going to do when I extend the duration for how much my legion is full. Is my legion is like, let's say 5 minutes over 90%, and with the pet is like extra 2 minutes to be over 90%. This is just, this is just the case. So this extra 2 minutes is going to give more damage to my mages in form of artifacts, hits, and magic and hero skill damage from if I don't actually use Sand Lizard. And I don't think if I don't build some crazy strong flaming manticore, or if I build some crazy Sapphire Fire Drag, because to be fair, Sapphire Fire Drag is maybe one of the best pets in the game. If you look on paper, it's like hitting 3 legions and having increased damage here, and some follow up and maybe some critical damage. This pet is looking like crazy, like on steroids. But at the end of the day, if I keep my legion more time, over let's say 70%, the more damage I'm going to do with my heroes and my artifacts. That's why I think the damage pets is maybe the biggest lose that we as mages are doing, focusing over the damage pets. Maybe if I build like 3-4 Sand Lizards, it's going to be good enough, and having Seraphic Fire Jurak to my best legion, maybe Mink Legion, maybe it's going to be good. But at the end of the day, I think, my personal opinion, you're losing efficiency if you half build some damaging pet. If you go very hard, having like maybe 6-7 swords here with the 3-star magic fortune or elemental harmony to be like 3-star, to having some crazy critical damage and critical rate, maybe. Because if this thing can go, critical rate can go to 49.7, so like 50%, which is a very solid for a 3-star, but it's so expensive, not gonna lie. And Sand Lizard is not that expensive. Sand Lizard is not that expensive. That's why I actually focus over Sand Lizard, and I just don't spend that much here. I know what I have to do, like level up this spell to 1-star and removing this one to extract this stone aura, but I'm not in hurry for anything. That's why I'm not doing that. If somebody going to question me in the comments below. But this is the other thing, is the pet mistake that we're actually focusing over the burst pets and some burst effects. We're needing more like sand lizard pets at the end of the day. This is what I think. Now let's talk about the biggest power the mages are having. Now this season I was playing with where is this thing? With healthcare diligence. This is giving me hospital capacity, blah blah blah. Stamina limit bonus is the thing that I was looking here to actually have. And right now each of my heroes are having 232 stamina. The reason I actually picked this policy is because I run infantry and cavalry, and believe it or not, you can finish your infantry stamina so fast. This 232 stamina is like 23 fights on the battlefield. But this is not with the mages. So if you want to do a damage, as we already mentioned, that the mages are total damage, is the best in total damage done. If you want to do that, you can completely do it with mages. You can fight the whole day with mages and still not losing your stamina. And if you're in the policy like me, you will never lose your stamina. I mean, almost never. Now, if you non-stop going in and out from your castle, you're going to lose a lot of stamina. But having the diligence, it's just, you know, you're not going to finish your stamina that easy with mages. Almost impossible. So this gives you the stamina efficiency on the battlefield, because if somebody's cavalry main, he can actually finish his stamina very fast. If it's infantry main, stamina very fast. Marksmen are close like mages, but they're hitting from more unsafe distance because they're medium range. Till mages, they're very far. This is completely fine. And that's why the stamina efficiency is for advanced players. Majority of the case. If you want to stay competitive, if you want to help your alliance for like day 2, 3, 4, and when you walk in you have always stamina to actually fight, the mages is the way. And the real power here is the damage per stamina. How much damage you have done to the enemy per stamina. And having mages fighting longer, doing more damage, the exchange of your stamina, mage stamina, in form of what damage you're doing to the enemy is very, very high. So yeah, it's just the mages are for long fights. They have also sustained uptime, and if you don't reset the mages when they hit like 70% and you reset them like 30%, you're going to also be extremely efficient on the battlefield. The other thing is the mistake that the players are making with the mages is they're comparing mages with the other units. I already talked about that the cavalry is one type of play, archers other type of play, and infantry is other type of play. Cavalry, they have just fast burst. The moment they touch the enemy range legion, they fire up their spells. But this is at cost of the higher cost, let's say it like this, because you're going to fill your hospital way more faster. but it's a really fast burst. That's why from time to time you're going to see that alliances are making some cavalry groups, like I don't know how many, it's a lot of cavalry, and they try to clean all the ranges on the battlefield. Because when the cavalry have numbers, the things become very scary. Okay, very scary. So yeah, this is what I can actually say for the mages. And if this change how you see the mages, don't forget to drop a like. This is the type of strategy content most players are ignoring. Now, the final thing, and my final words I can actually say is, Mages is going to give you this sustain on the battlefield, where you're going to have a chance to have longer fights, and you're going to have constant pressure. Because if the enemy sends you in hospital for like 2 days, you cannot help your alliance with the push, with the pressure they're trying to do on the enemy, because you're out. And the mages are going to give you this sustain and this long fights and this constant pressure for your alliance, because you're going to be alive and you're going to be there to continue pushing and actually destroy your opponent. So mages don't feel strong because players are measuring them the wrong way. Players are measuring mages the wrong way, and this is maybe the biggest problem that I was having back in the days, because I was not free to play when I started playing Call of Dragons, and and I have seen some, for example, I'm like 3 million merits back in the days, back in the days, and I saw somebody with, for example, 9 million. Yeah, I even know for who I'm talking about. And I asked him, okay, bro, how? Is it not it was cavalry guy, Spring Warden. Back in the days when the Elk Riders was not that popular like it is right now. And yeah, I mean, it's just different type of play, but the type of play back in the days we was able to do with cavalry is completely different what is today. Back in the days, everybody was still developing, and we was needing some resources. Killing donkeys was giving the same amount of merits like killing infantry. So farm killing was the thing. And yeah, but yeah, at the end of the day, this is what I think about the mages, and why the players are going to build them wrong and have the wrong expectation from the mages. At the end of the day, they're going to expect something, they're going to get something else, and this something else is completely fine if you understand how the mages are working. So yeah, guys, this will be for this video. Even the game is like, I'm going to kick you right now from the game. This is going to be for this video. Let me know in the comments your personal opinion over the mages. What is your expectation from the mages? Do you feel that, you know, when you was switching to the mages, or if you try the mages, you was expecting to, for example, do very fast damage and get tons of merits, but it ended up to be not that fast? At the end of the day, just let me know in the comments what you think over this whole thing with the mages. So far, I'm Burgas. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit one like. Also, small tip for my work that I'm doing, and subscribe if you're new here. We're making Call of Dragons content, some guides, gameplays, and this type of things. I wish you a great day, and see you in the next video.